Biome.
In mid is so good on the flank, but the retake is too.
Got some more fights that are going to be taking place, but look at the beautiful mind game here between these two teams.
All right.
Hold on. Hold on.
Hold the phone.
Let me make sure that actually recorded.
Ooh, yeah, that's gonna be good video content. You eating that banana?
I mean, the fuck out of this banana, dude.
I still have some Jameson left, so.
Oh, it's 9 a.m.
What's wrong
No
with you?
breakfast, no nothing. Cheers. Wait, hold on. We can get this recorded for some content, huh?
Hello. I gotta go out and do things after this. I don't know.
Yeah, I gotta go to lunch, man. So cheers. Going out to lunch. 9 a.m. shots.
Good luck. Yeah.
We're going to a seafood boil. They opened a seafood boil down here. Yo.
Who you going
It's
to?
called Mr. Crab.
Well, we have that
Crabs?
down here. What do you?
You need
Who
hot juice,
you
bro.
going with?
Minnie and
That
Katrina.
Is Minnie already drinking too?
Ah.
Dude, it's
No,
9.
Minnie's got a wife. Okay, he's not the
Yeah,
gym,
it's
like-
9 a.m. My
What does
wife.
that even mean?
My
I guarantee if I asked Minnie to drink with me right now, he'd be like, maybe.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
yes.
I think Caitlin would be really disappointed with me if she saw me drinking Jameson right now.
You wouldn't be concerned?
That's what I'm saying. I think she'd be disappointed and concerned.
I want a girl who's concerned about my well-being, not just disappointed.
Well, yeah, I think it'd be a little bit of both.
Are you good?
Yeah, man, that's wild. You're a wild boy. Okay.
That,
I can't let it go to waste, man.
that depression hits hard, man. You got it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Anyways.
All right. Alrighty then, guys. All right. Hey, everybody. This is episode 11 of A Side of Tilt. I'm Matt,
I'm Anthony.
And I'm Raymond.
and we are going to have some good content today. Not a lot of League of Legends talk, so if you guys are getting a little annoyed of that, well, you're in luck, 'cause today we're going to talk about a different Riot game, Valorant. Tran, hit it off.
Yes, I mean, this podcast revolves around Riot. apparently.
I think fucking Riot should sponsor us, man.
Yeah, hello, Riot. Come on.
We should be, instead of a side of Tilt, just be a side of Riot.
Yeah. Okay, relax. All right, so so this week begins what's called Riot's sponsored Valorant tournament, which is called First Strike. It is considered the first major. We just had quarters. Semifinals is actually playing later today. Well, for NA. Semifinals already played for Korea, I guess. But we're mainly gonna be talking about NA because I didn't watch the other regions. I don't know if you guys did, but I did. So start out, the matches started with we got Envy versus Immortals, Renegades versus TSM, 100 Thieves versus T1, Sentinels versus FaZe Clan. We're gonna go Envy versus Immortals first. Envy is the first seed. Immortals is the 8th seed, I think, coming into this bracket. That's what the qualifiers are for. The last couple weeks. That's what the seeding's for. And so Envy expectedly beat out Immortals 2-0. They seem really good. Watching. I can't say specifically because I don't know the different styles of teams yet, I guess. But I think mainly just overall in general, watching coordinated tactical 5v5 shooter gameplay is actually really interesting and really fun to watch everything happen all at once and all the chaos that happens when they push on the site, like with 5 players all at once. They're dropping smokes everywhere and like
I don't know what's happening sometimes.
Yeah. I also don't know what's happening sometimes, but I think it's really cool just to see because like it's almost like in this type of game, it's like kind of almost like military kind of like, you know, strategy, right? Because everyone's got like everyone's got a job, right? Everyone's got to clear like one corner, or everyone's looking at trying to cover your back or something like that, right?
Yep.
I think it's really cool to watch like strategies play out like that. And
I think
yeah,
what
go ahead.
I like is like there's like different coordinations, but you see how like each person uses the character differently and
Right.
like how they like like everyone, you know, like we saw like very similar team comps in terms of like, okay, you typically have like Jet or what's the guy who teleports?
Omen.
Omen.
Omen's pretty meta, yeah.
Yeah, and like everyone plays like how they push smokes differently or like how they throw them, and it's crazy because like there'll be two teams that could be mirror match, and it's way different.
Right, because they play. It's like kind of like that Overwatch aspect, right, of the game.
Yep.
It's like you can be playing the same character, but the way you play it can be vastly different. How you affect the game, which
How
is
you
like
push a site. Yep.
how you use your flashes and stuff like that. It's like really cool. The game adds like the idea is like kind of simple. You have a champion, and then like you push on the site, you have guns, but like just like the amount of variables that can happen when you push a site just like creates every scenario is like always different, and like pushing a site is never the same.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think yeah, like a really cool play. And so anyway, Envy coming out number 1 seed. They beat Immortals. They expected so. It was a 2-0, so it was pretty stomped.
Yeah, they smashed Immortals. I think Immortals is a newer team though in terms of like their
In terms of the roster.
players.
Yeah. And they like they barely skated by and like got into the tournament. So
Yeah, I think Wardell was kind of talking about it like Immortals is very new, and so they don't have like a lot of freshed out like
stage experience.
strats and stage experience. So their strategy is very like one-sided.
Oh, like I think that Hayes was
like how they play.
They're like predictable.
They're very predictable. So they might be a good team. It's just
gotta,
they need some time to figure their strats out.
Some more experience, yeah. I think what's that? Watching the games yesterday, I believe like Envy played let's see here. So I see things like they play Omen, Cypher, Sova, so like, and then 2 duelists, right? And the Caboose and Food plays.
It's a lot of control, and then
which is okay. So that's I think that's like kind of standard. That's like a lot of teams. But moving into the next matchup, which is TSM versus Renegades. TSM is mainly a duelist comp team. They play like 3 or 4 duelists, which is like kind of not normal.
And just frag out.
Team. Yeah, they're just like they go out there and they kill people. That's like their strat, right? They don't.
Yep. They
don't need more smokes or anything like that. They just sit there. They're
just
murdering people.
Frag. Give Wardell an op, and then that's it.
So yeah, watching this game. This game was definitely a stomp. It was I don't think it was really fairly close at all. Which is like Renegades was also a team that surprisingly showed up in the tournament. Yeah, and so it was like TSM didn't make it in the top half. So Renegades is like the 4th seed, I believe, and TSM is the 5th seed because they won the first and the last qualifier. So technically Renegades is supposed to be better, but I think
TSM just had a bad.
I think TSM just had a bad turn at that time, but I think everyone was in general pretty much agreed that TSM was probably heavily favored in this matchup, and they're kind of one of the tournament favorites. So, yeah, Wardell is a fucking insane. Also, the whole TSM roster is insane. They pop off so much. Like
you said, TSM is a favor.
A favorite, yeah. I think they're a favorite alongside Sentinels, and probably close, followed up by 100 Thieves.
Okay.
So with that, 2-0 over Renegades. TSM and Envy are playing later today. So that'll be a hype matchup. Moving on to 100 Thieves versus T1. 100 Thieves surprisingly doing really well now and like popping off. So that
one was a lot closer though than most of the other matches, because the other matches were kind of like blowouts.
Yeah, which is kind of what I expected. T1 is they were like coming into like this tournament, from the qualifiers, they seemed like they were meshing well and like doing a lot better than they were in the early stages.
Yeah,
it's like they're figuring out like what their game plan was. It just seems that also the 100 Thieves is also doing the same thing, and they're kind of better at it. It's nice to see. Like I said, I've said this on previous podcast first, but it's nice to see 100 Thieves like from their disaster roster when they first announced their first roster to the rebuilt roster of what they have built around Nico or Hiko and Nitro. It's like they're doing really well, and like they have like the whole balance of veteran players from like the CS:GO scene to get you the strats from there, but the young, spunky
young players,
that you just go out there and frag on people, and they have like good strategy. They actually seem really strong, surprisingly a lot better.
Man, I mean, if you look at T1's roster, it's kind of insane too.
Yeah, it's also
Brax,
yeah.
Skadoodle, AZK, who's I think was a former both Overwatch and CS:GO player. I don't really know who Spider is. But yeah, that lineup's kind of
Yeah, the big thing is like when Scooter announced that he was coming out of retirement to play Valorant, I was like, is that a thing? It's like you retired at CS:GO, and everyone assumes you're kind of done and you're gonna do like some streaming or whatever, right?
nah.
But he just retired for a little bit. He's like, oh, there's a new game came out. Might as well just hop in there and ruin the pro scene. Yeah.
I love how that the games are so similar that you see all these people just like kind of transition. They're like, you know what? CS:GO scene's a little too saturated. It's kind of old. Let's just do this other game.
You mean it's funny to see the entire Overwatch competitive scene move into Valorant?
All right, we'll talk on the next game because that is the next games are featuring a bunch of Overwatch. Overwatch players.
So moving on, 100 Thieves 2-0 over T1. Close series though. Both teams played really well. 100 Thieves was on to semifinals, which they play. So the next match was Sentinels versus FaZe Clan. Sentinels, one of the tournament favorites. I mean they're insane. Yeah, I mean the big one is that Overwatch MVP came over to play for Sentinels, and he's a Smurf in Valorant too, right? So.
Yep. Not only so Sinatra, who is, I think, the reigning 2-time world champ for the Overwatch League, MVP, got recruited when he was like 17 as a pro Overwatch player. Couldn't even play the first year of the Overwatch League. Leaves Overwatch at what would people consider at his peak.
Yeah.
To fucking play Valorant.
That's crazy. He's leaving a game that you're turbo smurfing on everyone, right? Yeah.
Smurfing on everyone. He can play like any carry, and he just
completely abandons the game and goes play another game.
The game. And then basically, Sentinels played. Who did they play?
They played FaZe Clan.
Okay, so FaZe Clan is basically an Overwatch League team. Okay.
So they got Corey.
They have Corey, Zachary,
Baby
Bay.
I don't know about Raucus, but is he
Raucus? I think Raucus was a tank main.
Well, from his stats here, this is what it looks like. He went 5-28 in the last game. So,
Wait, 28 deaths or assists?
deaths. Like over 2 games, he went 5-28.
All right then.
I'm trying to look here.
That's like what I get in Valorant.
Player.
I'm sorry, Raucus, if you're listening.
Raucus was a support
without the 5 though. 0 and 28.
For the Houston Outlaws. So he was a support player, which arguably I don't know.
Listen, when you're playing Zenyatta, you gotta be able to head click.
I guess if you're an anime, you have some aim, but yeah. I don't typically know a lot of support players who are known for their aim as much as their game sense.
Okay. So like, I'm looking at this results page, right? I'll just send this to you. Wait. Oh, I can't do it right now. But okay, so I'm looking at the stats page here, and everyone's in double-digit kills. Everyone is actually above 20 kills over 2 games. This is over 2 games, right? Because so if you didn't know, Sentinels 2-0 FaZe Clan. Everyone's got over 20 kills except for Raucus, who's sitting at 5-28 over 2 games. And I'm just like, Jesus, bro, are you okay?
Yo, what team is he on?
FaZe
Yo,
Clan.
tell him to hire me, man. I'll get the same KDA.
The same results.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. So
I'm sorry. I'm not blaming you.
Didn't do too hot either. He went 9-17.
That's way.
Game. Right.
Yeah. Zachary popped off and Corey popped off, but no. Yeah, anyways, it's interesting to see all of these ex-pro Overwatch players in Valorant. Blizzard, what the fuck are you doing?
You're right.
Yo, yeah, Blizzard's falling off real hard, man. I think we talked about that later, but
there's the whole Overwatch team just moved over, and it's like
like if you have like these star players, especially like your MVP, guy who's winning literal world championships, leaves like that. I would say that's
that's
something
very
that,
sus. Yeah.
that's sus about like your game or like the way you've organized pro play
Well,
to the
also-
point where it's just like no one wants to play.
I've always heard Blizzard doesn't treat some of their like main players really well. Like I think Disguised Toast talked about a little bit how there's like a video of him talking about how the difference between how Blizzard treated him and how Riot treated him. There's a few other players that talk about that with regards between like Overwatch and Valorant and just.
I think Blizzard was really cheap with their Hearthstone scene. They were like,
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I don't know if it's I think it's not just specific players, but like the way they're set up wasn't favorable to team players because you have these teams based on like different places in the world, right? You have the Houston Outlaws, like all London Spitfire, right? But all of these games they're played in LA, right?
right.
And the way they set it up is like they like the players would like fly in, play like
Oh, they
the
flew
whole
in.
weekend.
I
I'm
didn't
pretty
know
sure
they
flew in. Like
Jesus.
everyone had different headquarters. Like there were a couple teams in LA, like the Gladiators and the LA whatever.
Valiant or something.
Valiant. And then I'm pretty sure that all the other players like flew in from where their headquarters was based.
Was every week in LA?
Yeah, like they
Sounds
would play their
kinda
games in LA. So like the stress and like the like just because like you'd fly in, right? Play those 3 games over the weekend. Then you'd have team practices the whole week, and then you'd still want to like work on your own game, right? Outside of the team practices, outside of strats, right? So the players are like playing like 16 hours a day, and then like flying in, and it was just like there were so many players like burning out from
travel.
From Overwatch.
I think that's something you should make regional kind of stuff, not like
Yeah, I think
not
Blizzard
like
tried to
have London
expand
fly in all the
too-
time.
Too
Yeah.
quick, man.
Well,
I mean,
yeah, they were trying to like get the world like
I
Involved.
see the idea.
like a global thing,
I
right?
see
Yeah.
the idea. I just don't think
But
the scene.
to
The scene
have
is ready
it
for
like played just in LA and play that many games is just like
Yeah, because then like like, if you travel between like places like going to London or whatever, and like now like home field advantage kind of like matters, right?
Wait, you're tired as fuck.
Now,
A
but
flight
now-
from
I think it
London
was
to
from London.
LA.
I'm pretty sure the London and Chinese teams were in America. They're just like
Well, it's still like,
were represented, but you're still flying from like
Yeah.
different areas, right? Yeah, well, like all the League of Legends teams are like basically are based in LA, and they all
In
just go to
LA,
the studio,
yeah.
to play.
yeah.
And so like
You have
having
a house in LA, everything's in LA.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like I get the idea of what they were trying to do, but it's just like it was too early for the scene, and it's just like not because like if you think about it, if Overwatch is like was very successful and had a global presence, and like people could get behind the teams that represent their city, like like how people are with like sports teams, like traditional sports teams now, like soccer and something like that.
Yeah.
It'd be crazy. The problem is there's no way the scene was ready for that right now. There's no way people are ready for that right now, and it's not developed enough.
They're not ready for that. But you know what's funny is that like I would say Blizzard really hit off the player versus player scene before anyone else with regards to StarCraft and also with WoW arenas and all that kind of stuff. I mean, there's a huge PvP player base for that. You'd think they'd be the ones that be kind of like spearheading all this kind of stuff. It's kind of sad that they really just fell off. I mean,
They went
to have
big.
I think they either went too big and also they didn't like. I don't think they put into perspective like, oh, when these people fly in and stuff, they're gonna be tired, they're gonna get burnt out, like all this kind of stuff. We should do something else.
It seems like
kind of a way.
whoever was like handling their esports team just wasn't like an esports person.
Yeah.
Or he just like didn't like take into the like perspective of the players. Like,
Or
he just was
or even like a
like-
sports person. He's like,
yeah,
just
like
money
if we
person.
do this, we'll get like all of this attention. Like,
But they only think about like how money is gonna be handled, and like how like what if like.
Well, I think that's
how,
what all Blizzard's really been caring about for the past like
Yeah.
5 years, maybe more. I mean, it's just all money. I mean, that's why they've kind of fallen off. Same thing with like EA. I mean, dude, there's so many people who hate EA now because of how they handled a lot of their games and stuff. I mean, once you start just caring about the digits, man, people see that. It's pretty obvious. And when there's so many other good games and companies out there, it's very easy for people to be like, well, screw you, I'm gonna go over here. Especially when it comes to like esports, and Riot makes a good game, it's very easy for people to be like, oh, I'll just stop playing this game and go to this one, and then Riot's like, cool, man, we'll take care of you.
Yeah. And you saw that with like their academy teams. I've heard horror stories about Overwatch academy teams about like
I didn't even know what the word Overwatch Academy.
I don't either.
It's the thing. So they don't get like a lot of airtime, and I've heard like of players not being paid. Like they've been paid like 8 months late, or just never being paid at all.
8 months.
8 months.
Like they're
Yeah.
just never like they've been paid on time. So like all these like Overwatch teams are like these academy teams are like struggling to like hold roster players, and it doesn't entice players to like play academy.
How does that even happen, dude? Like honestly, like you're a big ass company, and you're like, you're paying these people to represent your game, and you're just gonna fuck them over like that. Like what the hell?
Gotta pay all those view bots on YouTube, bro.
Like, bro, what the fuck are you? Okay, speaking more about Blizzards, like,
Anyways,
wow. So we're going. I want to go back to WoW arenas real quick because
You jamming on WoW right now.
Okay, well, aside from that, but like I used to play a lot of WoW arena. Well, I mean, yeah, I used to play a lot of WoW arena back a few years back, and like, so I saw like I'm kind of invested into the scene, and I enjoy like watching. Okay, so I want to enjoy watching WoW, like the WoW arena esports scene. I want to enjoy it, but the problem is that like, I think I don't know if they're limited by their technology or whatever it is, but like Blizzard's spectating tool for WoW arenas is so trash. It's like, even if you know what the game is about, and you know what the spells, you still don't know what the fuck is going on in the game. That's the problem, and that's the thing about like with like things like Riot Games or like Overwatch still has that problem too, right?
I just don't know what's happening.
Yeah, you can play the game and know like the abilities and shit, but like spectating the game is like frustrating or difficult, or usually a loss. And the same thing happens with WoW or WoW Arena, and it's just like, I don't know if they're limited by technology, or they just don't have, or they didn't invest money into making a tool to make a better viewing experience.
How do they spectate that? They just go between character view to character view, or?
Yeah, basically. So you go like behind you go from character to character, and then like it basically follows. Oh, for Overwatch, yeah, for Overwatch. Yeah. I'm talking about WoW arenas. WoW arenas, you're behind the person, and then like it switches perspective, right? The problem is like they have like this overlay on the sides that like have like cooldowns and stuff like that. But the problem is you don't know. It's like it's kind of hard to see when people are using cooldowns or like have like certain buffs. Like I said, the game is an MMO, and it's like the arena. I understand it's probably difficult. I don't know. It's probably difficult to show, and I'm not saying I have a solution for it, but I feel that they could.
Yeah, it sounds tough to do that because it's not like you have an actual cameraman there or camera crew there. It's a game, so you have to figure out what thing can you code in to make a viewership that doesn't affect the players playing, and also make so people can watch and understand what's going on.
There's a guy controlling like perspectives.
Right, but what I'm trying to say is like it still can be. I can see how that could be confusing because when I watch Overwatch stuff, it's confusing. But when you watch League of Legends, it's very simple. But it's also because it's just a straight up 5 versus 5, boom, over the top. Oh, we switch to this lane, we switch to that lane. The game is designed for a better viewership. I think same thing with even with like Counter-Strike, it's not so wild like Overwatch. There's a lot more downtime and setting up, and then you could watch the fight happen.
Well, the fights are quicker, right?
Right.
Like you peek, and then someone dies, and it's like, okay, you pan over to the next person. Overwatch, you just have like
it's gnarly,
like, scrapping 1v1s, and then going back and healing, and then there's other people fighting in a corner. And you go over the top, and you're like, what the fuck is happening? And it goes back to this. I remember there's this one cutscene where it just like goes over to this guy doing literally nothing. He's just flanking, and there's a full fucking fight happening. You're like, hello? What's happening? Hello? And then like 4 people die, and it pans back. You're like, ah, fuck. Well, I don't know what happened there, but it sounded insane. Glad I can watch this fucking Genji climb a fucking wall and then come around a corner.
Yeah, I think they just maybe to flesh things out, or I mean, WoW has. I mean, not WoW. The cool thing about Riot is sometimes when like they're going like top side to see a solo kill, and then something happens in bot, they'll be like, oh shit, and they'll replay it in a smaller screen. It feels like you're almost watching like a professional sport, like a replay's happening, this is happening, you have people talking about it. I feel like you could easily do that too in an Overwatch game if like maybe they thought Genji climbing a wall was something sneaky. They watch that, kills happen, they go, oh shit, boom, pop back, replay, show the fight real quick. But
I don't think there's any way to do an Overwatch because in Overwatch you're constantly battling. There's like no downtime.
that's true.
Yeah.
Overwatch is a little nuts.
There's no downtime unless your team gets wiped.
You know what? It might just be a game where you just can't have good
Possibly
spectators.
they made a bad spectator game.
Yeah.
Possibly. I don't know.
I possibly that
That's
game
possibly was what it
too
is,
much.
and maybe it's just not like the technology, or just no one's thought of a good enough way for spectatorship in those kind of games. Because you know you have to think they know that there's an issue with that.
Yeah, I hope that like they at least like try. I invested some money to try to get it worked out because if they didn't know, it already sucks. But like I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Just,
Anyway,
it's yeah, that sucks. Anyway, so we're talking about Valorant, right? Okay, so yeah, Sentinels 2-0 versus FaZe Clan. FaZe Clan is out. Sentinels and so the matches today are going to be Envy versus TSM and 100 Thieves versus Sentinels, and the winner of those two matches will play in the final tomorrow.
Okay.
So those will be high matches. If you guys are also interested, there's also EU and Korea EU and Korea first strike tournaments, but I'm not going to watch those. But yeah, if you guys are interested, do that. Dude, I'm just watching this like little preview of like the Valorant scene. I'm actually so excited to see when international play comes back and seeing the fucking regions play each other again. That'd be so fucking. I really hope NA doesn't shit the bed like they do in League, and I hope they like stop the scene.
I think NA is in a good place though, because we've
I
taken
do too.
talent from a lot of like there's a lot of good talent. Now I don't know about the EU scene because I'm pretty sure
EU is pretty good too.
EU is dominated.
At least in
the
like Counter-Strike.
CS:GO. Yeah, right. The EU has dominated the Counter-Strike scene. So if they've done what we've done and have a lot of pro CS:GO players transition over, they might be a really solid scene.
Mhm.
And I don't know about Korea. Like Korea dominated Overwatch, but I don't know if that exactly translates because we watched,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if CS:GO type shooters are big in Korea. I don't think.
Yeah, I think they have their own set of first-person shooters
Do they stick to-
over in Korea, but I don't know if those translate as well as like CS:GO.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just
I don't know.
yeah, I'm excited for another international like esports scene to be excited
blow
about
up.
watch teams play and smurf on people.
So then you can have both League of Legends and Valorant up at the same time when their leagues are both going at the same time.
And then be equally disappointed when NA fails. Yeah, great.
Always disappointed when that happens.
Always. Word is the new double lift. All right.
Kind of speaking about this, I was and I'm gonna kind of transition a little bit to TFT if that's okay.
Yep.
I was watching a video from Bunny Muffins. He's a challenger player in NA, and he was talking about how there's kind of difficulty with the, I guess, spectatorship of TFT, as there is no spectatorship in TFT, and that makes it difficult to have like tournaments and kind of stuff like that as well. And it kind of just brings me to like that as well. It's something like I think of a mistake Riot's making too is not capitalizing on like the TFT kind of genre. Is apparently it's starting to kind of fall off a little bit. So like I think we were just talking about the spectatorship of like Overwatch stuff. It kind of reminded me of that. Like I can't just like pop on and like say you're playing TFT just spectate you. And yeah, I've always kind of wondered why that is. And when you don't have that makes it tougher to like do some sort of like I think tournaments and things like that apparently. So I just kind of was speaking of that a little bit. I don't know what your guys' opinion is.
Watching TFT like the little they host like, or I don't know if it's Riot sponsored, but I some people host like TFT.
Yeah, there's little tournaments.
And like the way they spectate is they just go from like person to person, right? And you see the board and like you just like you go from person to person, you see the board. That's better. But like I don't know how else you would kind of improve. I don't know how else you could do to improve that kind of like spectator game. And so like yeah, they might have accidentally made a bad spectator game as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. What do you expect out of spectating a TFT game? Like, would you want to see all boards at the same time, or like
I don't know. No idea. It's just something they were.
Maybe like looking like what maybe looking at the traits that everyone has at the same time might be like beneficial or something like that. I don't know.
Well, I would just imagine a split screen that has like, okay, this is like the.
Yeah, but
the
you'd
other
have
opponent's
4 to 5 split screens. It'd be kind of nuts seeing all that happening at the same time. But it's possible.
Well, because okay, so we have like 8 players and
Oh. Well,
and
like
things,
it and like who's playing who, right?
right
I
when
guess.
the fight starts, you
When
can
the
like
fight
split.
This is a split screen, and then you'd see like, okay, this half, and then like their
Yeah.
traits, I guess.
It's kind of weird because like you have like so when you get into a fight, you have 2 people in the fight. You have one, the close side and the far side, and like the problem is like you spectate from the close side, it looks different than if you spectate from the far side, right? And it's like, yeah, they get kind of like a weird spectating issue, and I get that. But more moving into like how like TFT popularity like spikes and then drops is between when a new set drops. TFT popularity is fucking through the roof, right? Everyone's playing the new set and like getting the new shit, and then like, but like the same thing happened with the last set is like eventually that like
Everyone hits their.
Oh, it's not exciting anymore. You
the honeymoon phase with the set.
yeah,
is over, right?
you can only go Divine Warwick so many times.
Right, and that's like I think that's why they do smaller sets and do a lot of changes, right? Because like that's how they keep the game
Fresh.
alive. Yeah, alive and like feeling good and stuff like that. But like, I don't think there's any way around that because unless you're really devoted to the game and like you're not like just a casual player, like that comes in like just like wants to experience a new set and like see some cool things happening with like the attributes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Unless you're, I mean, it's just gonna be the same, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the issue is that sometimes it's just a lot. I mean, I'll say when I watch Keen, he plays the game how I think you should play it. I think Scar has said that quite a few times too. I believe it's Keen he's talking about. Is he will play just what the game gives him, and he'll go like first, and he'll get. I mean, I just saw him the other day. He had like a Rabadon's, like something got like the gauntlets and something else on his Hecarim, and his Hecarim would ult and just kill everyone, and you're just like, what? Like who thinks of that? And he was going like Vanguard, Cultist, Divine, like he had like all these different like bronze like traits, and he'll just smash through, and then he gets to 9 and then puts all these fucking things on, and makes a totally different like transition so seamlessly. It's crazy.
So crazy.
But then everyone else, yeah, and then everyone else, or like going like Divine Warwick, 9 Cultist, like very straight meta. And I mean, yeah, that's how I play too. I mean, it's very tough to like,
play duelist. Fuck it.
So it's very tough to play the way he does. But I mean, like, it's crazy to see when you watch him play. It's very interesting because you're like, what's he gonna do? And he's like, well, these items are really good for Jhin. Oh, I just got a 2-star Azir. Okay, so I'll get a Azir and then I'll sell this and I'll do that. Oh, now I have 6 Warlord. How'd you get fucking 6 Warlord? What? Like, it's just crazy. So I think like that kind of stuff would make it more interesting. I think if somehow they could design the game to be more friendly to that would be great. I just think it's tough to do that. I don't think a lot of players can do that because when I try to do that, I get a Swift 8th.
Yeah, Swift hard 8th.
Swift hard 8th, man. That's why.
I just really want to say that it's so cool to watch a really high level TFT player just sell their entire board and then like
Win
put
the
all the
game.
items, put all the items that they had created before onto their new units and still have like a effective comp that wins games. Like,
yeah, I can't. My brain doesn't work that way. It's
yeah,
like, I need a GA for my Yasuo and a fucking Bloodthirster.
Yeah, and Keen doesn't even like save items usually. He just smashes them.
He just slams things in whatever.
Slams items.
He's like, yeah, this looks good. Yeah, just like
I think all the time he's like, I think this is good, and then people like flame him in chat, and he goes, "You guys aren't even high elo," and I'm like, I mean, all right. And then he gets first place. You're like, oh,
and
damn.
then he wins streaks like 5 games with just those items, no upgrades. You're like, my bad.
Oh shit, dude.
Yeah, he literally just slams items all the time. I'm just like, how the what? I'm like, it's just crazy because he'll be like, these aren't good items for Jhin, and then he gets Jhin. He goes, actually, I think they're good, and puts them on. Then he kills, and I'm like, what is happening? This guy's wild.
Those things like because that game is RNG based, right? You get like items, right, and you get units.
Well, it's RNG based,
right?
but it's more like playing with what RNG gave you.
Right.
That's
but
the thing, is I think-
it makes it like those players make it feel like it's not RNG.
Yeah.
Like it's just like they're just like going with the flow, and
They
it was like
reduced the amount
intentional.
of RNG affects them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like, okay, well, I got this. I'll use this unit to play with all these items, and then I'm in.
And
We're
every
good.
once in a while you do play that way, it feels fun. Like I remember I got a Spirit Teemo, which like if you look on like your meta boards, like Spirit isn't like a thing really. It's always like Warwick that. Now that Spirit's good, don't get me wrong. So I was like, all right, I guess I'm going this, and I put Teemo down, and then I was like, all right, what works with Teemo? Oh well, Kindred Spirit. Oh, now I have Hunter. I'll put Warwick in, and I got like a Warwick, and like I just got this weird ass thing and went like first. And sometimes like it really pays off, and it feels like a really good game. And other times you're like, no, this works. Then you're like, no,
I'm shitting the bed.
I suck.
You're like, oh,
You're like, I suck. I need to go 8
Oh,
cultists.
6 fortune? Oh yeah, first day.
Then you
got it.
try to pivot, you try to pivot into something like normal, and it's too late. And you're like,
Yeah,
oh,
but I think
God.
if they were to have tournaments like that, it'd be really cool. I mean, I love watching
Yeah.
like that, and I think they yet again need to figure out a spectator mode. Maybe 4 screens is the way. It might be tough, or what you could do is and I don't know how this affected, you pause. So after the match, there's like a pause. They can't buy anything, they can't sell anything, they can't do anything, so everyone can watch it real quick and then boom, resume. But I don't know how that would be because that gives them time to think.
I think it'd make it too slow. You know.
I think
Well, the games would be a lot longer, but spectator-wise, you'd be like, "Oh shit, this is how this person won that. This is how this press, how close that was." I don't know how it would be though. You don't get to do that in the beginning. Because once you get like,
I think it'd be too different than normal play. Because like, okay, so you pause and now you give players time to think. About
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the other problem. It's not
I
the
think
same.
like 4 screens just kind of going through 4 or 2 screens just going through like each player, just like taking a second to like look at like, okay, this is what they have, and then like what's on their like board. Because like what happens is like in early game, right, pre 50 gold, right, you get your units on your that you can buy, right, and no one typically re-rolls. So like when you pan over to a player, like you see like, okay, he's going this.
Well, it depends
No.
because I know there's different countries, different metas. Like I know the Korean meta. I mean, it's super aggressive. Like no one cares about 50 gold over there. That's what
Yeah.
Keen was saying. He's like, he goes, NA is very like 50 gold.
Slow
That's what you do.
roll.
Slow roll. He goes, in Korea, it's like you just spend all your gold and get the best units you can. Get 2 stars, 3 stars, whatever. Boom, and then whatever I have, I got, and you go in.
Then you win streak later after you get your
Yeah. So it just depends. So if you're watching like an international thing, I mean, that'd be quite different. So
No.
Well, I think RNG is kind of it's good and bad because too much of it, people don't think they have control of the game, and like it's just random, and like everything's a coin flip, right? And too less of it doesn't make the game interesting enough. Like if it just makes it really linear, especially in a game like TFT. If you don't have enough RNG, it's like really linear, and like everyone goes the same build, and like the same amount of bullshit, whatever it is. So I think like maybe to like make tournaments more interesting, alongside with like, okay, so real quick, talking about the spectator thing, I think if they only have like 1 spectator in the camp, there's a problem. Like this is why they only pan to like 1 person at a time, and so if they could include multiple spectators, I agree, it'd probably make the experience a lot better. But moving on to like more tournament, like spectator wise, I think this is just me like spitballing an idea. What would make things like really interesting is like if tournaments had like their own
rules, like galaxies, kind of.
like a galaxy, like an attribute or a trait.
But you only popped it off during the tournament, and no one knew about it, kind of thing.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Only during the tournament, and then like because like that's more of like to make it more spectator friendly and more like spectator hype, right? Because like at home you don't get any of that stuff. It's not as frustrating, but it's like kind of cool to see like how a person of high level gameplay would react to a certain,
That's actually a good idea because I actually wasn't a big fan of galaxies because for me it's frustrating to be like, well, what the fuck? I don't even know normal build. Yeah, I was like, I don't even know normal builds, and there's 8 different modes.
I can only build 2 items on my unit.
Yeah, but a tournament would be interesting if they just threw a curveball and like that. And now you're like, okay, how are you gonna do this, challenger guy? Because end of the day, it's be boring to see someone just be like, oh, I high rolled fucking Warwick, so I guess I win, kind of thing. Whereas if you were like, okay, you can still hire a work, but you can only
gotta
put
deal
2
with it.
items. You can put 1 item. You can only do
Yeah.
these things. Like,
Do you think it'd be better to like pop it on them on the spot, or give them like at least a day to like theory craft?
I think it'd be
on, like,
good. I think
possibilities?
I would say you'd say, hey, there's 6 different modes. You don't know. We don't even know which one. It's gonna be
You're gonna get
random.
one. Yeah,
You're gonna
you
get
gotta-
one of them. Here you go. That's it. And so at least they have an
extra layer of
idea.
OMG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least they have an idea, so they're not learning. Because challenger or not, you're still having to learn every time a new set comes. You'd obviously be better than me, but so at least give them an idea of like this is what could happen. They can at least put things on the board, like going to make their own team kind of thing on mobile
So I
or
think
whatever.
so now thinking about it, I think spectator wise, it seems really interesting. It seems really interesting. I don't know how player wise.
I
I don't
think
know how I
4
feel about
split
that.
screens, focusing on each fight, and then like maybe when it's just like after rounds, it would just kind of be one screen, kind of panning through each
Yeah.
individual player.
No, so I'm more talking about like how a player playing in those tournaments would feel. Like,
Oh,
are you happy? Are you happy with like getting a random RNG thing that
That's true. You would have to see if the players are okay with that. Because if your top players are like, fuck that, then then you don't have a tournament. So
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
no one wants to watch me in a tournament, man.
it seems kind of interesting. Like I said, from a spectator side, I don't know how if I was playing
I
professionally.
feel like as a professional player, I would hate the randomness, right? Because
Yeah.
like you got
it-
to your
yeah.
professional status or your tier because you knew the meta, you knew like what characters to go, like what characters were good early game, what characters are good late game, what items to build, right? So now that you're like, okay, hey, fuck everything here's just this random thing. I don't know if players who are professional are gonna be like, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, fuck me over, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's my problem.
I think it depends.
I have a strat. I have a way I play, right? Because there's a kind of a way to play, right? And when you're just like throwing it off, it's like, oh, well, I don't really, like.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
all
it's
your hard work-
something to try out, or like maybe just if Riot had the idea, get those major players and just talk about, hey, how would you feel about this? And if they're like, that would be interesting, you could try it once. I mean, it's not the end of the world if like you try
first
it
I'll
once.
try a bunch
Yeah.
of different shit, right? So,
Yeah, so that's
wait,
something.
has there been a Riot sponsored TFT tournament?
I
like,
don't know. I don't think
I've
so.
not heard of one, no.
Can't really. Yeah,
There's already
Riot
Riot sponsored Runeterra tournaments though. There's already the
I think
EU
there's-
one. I
yeah.
think Portugal one.
I don't know if they're like maybe Riot's maybe just trying to keep TFT kind of like just as
Just a side
playable
piece to
game.
League, yeah.
and not a like competitive esports like.
Or maybe there's just
Yeah,
not like that type of competitive scene for it,
Maybe
That's
yeah,
true too. I mean, they have a lot more analytics and stuff than we do, but it's just
Yeah.
something.
I think the game. Yeah, so the game is just different than like the other Riot games because like you said, people are interested in League pretty much like all the time. I know they change the game like every year and like that's it. Every
Yeah.
year they get a change. TFT, if you don't change the game like every few months, people stop playing.
Gets stale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like, it's a different problem with a different game. I don't know how they would really fix it or whatever. But
Good stuff. Alrighty then. Maybe enough Riot. What are we doing next? What do you think, Ray?
yeah,
Or Tran?
I mean,
Let me pull up this.
I'd say we just keep moving on with like game experiences maybe, and then move on to other stuff later.
Alright, that's fine.
Since we're already here.
So, well, let's go to Nintendo then. So, rumors are we already have, I think, a SNES port on the Switch. We also have a Super Nintendo port on the Switch. So, I guess now the next thing is that there's going to be a Game Boy, Game Boy Advance port as well.
I'm surprised they didn't do that first.
Why I think they're going
Yeah.
from oldest to newest. So I think
makes sense.
what they're going to do is eventually, that's the rumors, because a lot of people are speculating that there's going to be a Nintendo 64 port, which that would be nuts, because that was probably their most, other than that and GameCube, probably 64 though, our favorite games. I mean, back to GoldenEye, you're looking at Conker's Bad Fur Day, old Smash Bros,
Mario
Ocarina of Time,
64.
Majora's. Yeah, well, they already have Mario 64 on the Switch now because they have
Oh, okay.
Super Mario 3D All Stars or Mario 3D All Stars. It has the Super Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, Mario Galaxy, all on that. Those 3 games. So, but bring back the original Paper Mario, like a lot of these like original OG Mario games, just games in general. I mean, people are dying to play Ocarina of Time again on freaking the Switch, like all that kind of stuff. So as much as I hate rehashing old shit, it is actually pretty smart, and it makes everyone who maybe doesn't have an N64 anymore, or those old games with the ability to do that, to bring it back real quick. And I don't think it'd be too tough. I'm sure there's some coding and technical stuff I don't know about, but I think it's interesting. So to bring back the Game Boy games, your old like Zelda games, your old Super Mario Party,
games.
yeah, all that kind of shit.
What's the system for like? Is it you pay a subscription, you get all the games that were released for that console, or like
You
what?
buy the games
do you buy
individually.
I think you buy it. I think you buy the like. So I'm pretty sure you buy the games individually, but they're cheap. Like when I bought the
Yeah.
Sonic game, it was like maybe $5.
Okay, man. Okay. So now they're rehashing old games for a minimal, so not the same price, but man, that's like.
But you get the game you want. So like obviously you don't want to
Yeah.
get like every. Like I don't give a shit about maybe Duke Nukem, for instance. You know what I mean? Some
Yeah.
people are gonna really want that, and they'll pay $5 to play it on their Switch.
Pay
And
$5 for Tetris.
I'm just saying they have a good what's it called, I don't know, revenue strat now.
oh yeah, yeah, I think it's brilliant.
Rehashing old shit for extra money, like holy shit, dude.
Yeah, and all they really had to do is put a little bit of time in to just make it work on the Switch, which I mean can't be that tough. I mean I could play Duke Nukem 64 emulator on my computer right now. So
Right.
if some
Yeah.
nerd thought of an emulator, I'm sure a fucking billion-dollar corporation can do it too.
Nah. They just
Nah.
hire the nerds.
Hey, there you go. Exactly. So that's the thing as well too. So
I mean that'd be kind of cool. I'd be excited to play like some of the old classic games, like Pokemon Red Blue, maybe a Pokemon trading card game, or
Silver.
Pokemon Snap, like we were saying earlier, like the old
Yeah.
one.
see, that'd be cool. Yeah, that's. I mean, now when it comes to Pokemon, they're like remaking them, like
Oh,
totally Sword and Shield updated graphics. Apparently, they're going that
I
right.
I would like that because those games are classics, and just like seeing them.
Well, I would love for them
better,
to
you know?
make like gold and silver or crystal or whatever.
I don't know
again.
what is it playing the early Pokemon generation games. Just
So
feels so much
nostalgic.
better. Just
Yeah.
feels so much better than the later ones. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's harder. I think it's because there's like a goal. Like I just all these like Sword and Shield was fun, but I mean like super easy. I never lost. Every time I went into the
they hold your hand through the whole game.
yeah, every time I went into the game and like went to the first like gym, second gym, third gym, or whatever it was, you just stomp on them. Maybe a little close here and there, but overall you just stomped on them.
Red and
I mean,
blue. Listen, you can't fuck around first.
Brock?
You gotta
grinding.
pick the right. You
grinding.
gotta pick the right Pokemon, or you gotta grind like an extra.
Bro,
5
if you
levels.
picked Charmander your first Pokemon, you fucked. You needed Charizard to beat Brock. It was gnarly.
Dude, you gotta pick up some needle or some
Even if you
bullshit in
picked,
the
then
forest.
even if you picked up like Squirtle, bro, Brock was cool. But then you go to Cerulean City and fucking be Starmie. Like, ugh,
Yeah.
it's gnarly. Gary, I mean, he was no joke. You know,
no, that shit was wild. Cause
you really had to grind that game.
Yeah, there was a lot more weaknesses because now you had basic attributes in the first game, right? Like water. Now you have like, okay, this Pokemon steel fighting and
Yeah, that's. I think that's a thing too. It
This,
makes it.
this.
Yeah, it's a lot more. There's
lot
less.
more-
I think there's less ways to screw up because now instead of being like, oh, this guy's rock, you're fire, you're screwed. It's like this guy's rock steel. So technically, steel is weak to
Fire
fire, but rock isn't. So it does normal damage. You're like, oh, cool, that's easy. You know,
Yeah.
like it's not that big of a deal. Whereas if it was water, it'd be like, well, steel is strong against water, but rock isn't. So it's like you always have like an out kind of.
Right.
Yep.
And then with fairy and dark and all this kind of stuff. So, you know, I think it's easier to kind of get by because it's so much easier to get variability in your team as well. But I also think there's still ways to make it harder. I mean, you can make gym leaders just have fucking super strong Pokemon.
Yep.
Yep.
They're 5 levels above you. Fucking level up, punk. You know?
Grinding, bitch.
Yeah, get grinded, baby. Get in that grass field.
Yeah.
Get in that grass patch right below Brock's gym and run in circles and kill Midorans, all right?
Go find some rare candies.
Yeah,
Do
something.
shit.
So I think there's ways, but yeah, I felt that way about Sun and Moon 2. Really easy. I mean, they actually got rid of like gyms. You had to do like weird challenges and things. It was fun. Don't get me wrong, but it's not hard. None of the games are hard anymore. The Elite Four, it's like it's a cakewalk. You just storm right through them. It's not a big deal.
Dude.
So.
My first time going to Elite Four, walking into a fucking Ghost Bitch. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah,
Agatha,
and you
I
can
think.
only use one thing against it. You're like, God,
Yeah.
what the fuck,
Jesus.
man?
And that's the
You
thing.
had a
Elite
fucked up
4.
psychic Pokemon, or you're fucked.
Yeah, the Elite
Yeah.
4 was still tough. I mean, you had the rock guy. I mean, he threw in some fighting Pokemon.
Or the fighting
You had
guy.
a fucking level 3000 Machamp. You're like, hold on.
What the fuck's going on here?
And then he had Hitmonchamp. You're like, oh, this is easy. I just keep using my water Pokemon. Psych, Thunder Punch. Like,
Way
so
better.
yeah, you know, and you start rolling through your team. So they were able to make it a lot harder back then. I think they can easily do it now. They just kind
Still
of
do it, yeah.
they just
They
want to
choose not
baby you.
They for sure choose not to.
Yeah, which is weird because Pokemon came out when we were kids, and that was like when games were first out. No one had game knowledge back then. So like
No one knew what
to
was
make
going on.
them, if any time was to make it easy, it should have been back then.
Yeah.
To make them easy now, and everyone's playing all these games and has all this game knowledge, and like all this stuff's kind of intuitive now, especially for people who've played games their whole lives, even kids, because that's all they're doing now. I'd make them hard. I'd make fucking
Yeah, I'm
Dark
like- I'm
Souls
kinda-
Pokemon.
Everything is Dark Souls. All right,
Yeah.
3. All right.
I'm kind of interested in what the science behind that the decision.
Because I don't think kids care if a game's easy or not, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I don't think if you're playing Pokemon, you're like, I want this to be hard, right? You're playing Pokemon just to like catch Pokemon, and then,
Well, I don't
like,
think it should be hard, like gnarly, but I don't know. I just sometimes it's
some type of
easy when it's just like I think it's easy when it's just a cakewalk.
Is it more catering to like people who are like, who get into a game and like they die once and they're like, fuck this game, and then they leave the game? Like, what the fuck is that? Like, that's like more catering to like.
Yeah, but I don't think there's that many of those players. Honestly, you're not really much of a gamer.
Yeah,
if you're
exactly.
really-
I think that's like more of a non-gamer to like,
Yeah.
just to be like, now like this is too hard. I'm not gonna try anymore.
Yeah.
That's not the point
In
of games, right?
Pokemon, I don't care how hard it is. It's never that punishing.
That hard, right? Yeah,
Because end of the day, all I do is gain a couple more levels.
bro. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
you have to be-
Yeah, it's not hard. It's like you have to restart the whole fucking game like Dark Souls. It's just like, oh, you're back in front of the Pokemon Center full health. You could either try again or gain a couple levels. Like, it's not like super crazy. I think so. I think what it was is, I think Pokemon had a dip after, I would probably say, like Sapphire and Ruby, because people were getting older, so they stopped playing Pokemon
That's the
games.
last one. That's the last one I was. Really
Yeah,
interested
and that
in.
me too. Actually, mine was more Crystal, but I still did play, I think, Ruby. And I did beat it, but I wasn't like super into it. And I think Black and White came out, and no one really cared about that. And I think people were like, "There's still Pokemon." Like,
Diamond and Pearl.
yeah, Diamond and Pearl, same
Black and
thing.
White,
People were still
X, Y.
like, "Oh, there's still Pokemon." Like, really? Like, how many Pokemon are there now? Like, that was a running joke for a while. So I think they're losing their old audience, and they weren't gaining that newer audience for a little bit. So then what they did is I think, brought it back to old school, dumbed it down, and now everyone's back on Pokemon again. And so now what they think they need to do is just kind of raise the bar up again, which they may or may not do. I think they should, but Ray's probably right. They probably won't, but
The hand-holding thing is kind of like definitely kind of like a turn off playing the game. It's like, yeah, it's just the game is not even that hard. It's like, bro, come on.
yeah, I mean, like I said, Sword and Shield I think was a good start. It was really fun. It felt like older Pokemon, but like really cool and updated. I think they just had to kind of up it up a little bit, and you're good. So I mean, the story was good. It was very fun, interactive. I really liked how all the Pokemon are really fun and cool. Like it was a good game. I would say it's one of the best Pokemon games they've come out with in a while. I just think I just need a little bit more, because I mean, in the old ones, you couldn't get to the next place until you found Cut. Well, how do you find Cut? Well, I have to go to the big cruise ship. I have to go do all these things, make the captains. There were steps to do. Whereas I feel like now it's like you beat trainer number 1, now you can go over here. Like that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And I think
And also
Sword and
made all
Sh-
the.
I think
all the fucking. Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
I think Sword and Shield took that back a little bit, as now you had to complete certain things before you just go to the next town and go to the next gym. So, but go on.
I think an inclusion of like puzzles and riddles would be a lot better.
Yeah.
Like a way to make it more difficult, but it's always fun like solving a puzzle. Like
Well, they did that for like Ruby and Sapphire, right? They had like puzzles and shit where you had like certain Pokemon doing certain things to like unlock the legendaries.
Yeah, I think that was the last of that though. I think Ruby and Sapphire was it, and then that's when everything kind of fell off. Some people hold Ruby and Sapphire or Emerald or whatever as like the best ones.
I mean, they were good. I wouldn't say the best.
I'm just saying, some people love it. Some people think it's the best generation. I hear it all the time. So
I definitely enjoy it. Also, like I was saying, the kind of weird thing that they did, which I guess I kind of understand, is like making the HMs more like you don't have to force it on your Pokemon anymore. They kind of just like do it now instead of like having to be part of their move list. Which like
I like that.
I mean, okay, so like I understand it makes it more convenient, but it just takes another aspect of the more decision making of the game.
Exactly, and that's true too.
Pokemon with 4 HMs on it.
Yeah,
I think that's why they got rid of that because you end up being like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna fucking get my Metapod with Flash, Cut, and Push, and then once I get all that things done, I'll just go back to my PC and switch it out. I think they're like, okay, like we're not gonna do that anymore. Yeah, it's annoying, and I also think having all the XP share makes it easier, but I think they're trying to get rid of I guess I'll just fucking sit in this bush, run around. I think they got rid of the grinding aspect, and that's fine. That makes sense to kind of change out. I still think they can make it, but if you're going to make it easier to level up, you got to make these gym battles hard. You got to make these trainers hard. You got to make it so your team is pretty diverse and things like that. So I think there's ways they can do that. I'm not looking for it to be fucking impossible. Like Ray said, it's a Pokemon game. I want to.
We're looking for Pokemon Dark Souls here. Okay?
Yo, I'm down though. I am down for that. I'm down for that.
Pikachu didn't roll out of the Thundershock, bro. Listen, if they made a game where you were a trainer, right? You got in a battle and then you became the Pokemon.
That's what Trey and I were talking about, like our first episode, I think.
You're doing the fighting yourself.
So there was a MMO that some guy was making for Pokemon. I don't know how far along it was, but that's what it was. You could just go out, catch Pokemon. As soon as you threw your Pokemon out, you were the Pokemon. It was very cool.
That would be cool.
But I think Nintendo shut that down. Like they shut everything down. People make it.
No.
Oh yeah, they always close that shit off, bro.
I want to play as a Pikachu. I want to fucking do my quick attack, hit you with the lightning strike.
I think that'd be awesome. Yeah.
All right.
So
fucking Smash Bros now.
Let's see what else we got going on. I guess a quick little thing. So for Black Friday, I bought a few games. One of them I played was Yes Your Grace. It's kind of a side scroller kind of. I don't know how to explain it. It's like an 8-bit like 2D story game. So you make decisions. You collect gold for your kingdom and try to progress through the story. It was a lot of fun. Cheap.
You already beat it?
Yeah.
What the
He
fuck?
played a lot when he was off.
Yeah, when I wasn't working because I was sick. So I just fucking jammed on it. It was cool. A lot of good decision making. There's multiple endings. There's multiple things you can do. There's lots of decisions. I mean, you would have like a general, a witch, a hunter on your team. You get those later on, but sometimes someone would come up I need help with this, and you're like, all right, I'll give you my general. And then someone else would come I need help with this, and only your general could help with that. And you're like, fuck, man, I guess I can't help you. And then later on in the game, that same guy that you couldn't help out, now you need his help. And he's like, well, fuck you, bro.
Fuck off, bro.
And you're like, man. So there's a lot of that. It was pretty fun. Once you figure out how to get a lot of gold, it wasn't terrible to beat. I would say I did lose once, and I was like, what the? I just had no gold, no supplies, and then I kind of figured out a method to do that.
Height of dysentery.
So, and then it worked out really well. Actually, the best way to do that, so you guys know, is just help everyone out, and you get your money back, tenfold.
Makes
So
sense.
do side quests? Great.
No, but I mean, people. So basically, you're sitting on your throne, and peasants come to the throne and ask for help or advice or whatever, and basically, you always just say yes to them. Most of the time, you're gonna get rewarded. And then
Being a good king.
Yeah, basically, don't be a dickhead.
Got it. Don't be a dickhead.
When I first played, I was kind of like, this guy's like, can you help me find my kid? I'm like, well, helping you find your kid's important. And then someone would be like, there's a weird thing in the well. It smells. And I'm like, fuck off. And then
So drinking water. What the fuck, man?
no, but I don't know, something like that. Anyways, basically, I would decide I guess this is important because you don't have a lot of gold and you don't know how the game's gonna progress. You're trying to save onto shit. And then I learned just to be like, fuck it, everyone get money. And then, yeah, it works out. So, but the first time you're playing, you don't know how it's going to progress. So once I kind of got that first, like, hump, then you're like, oh, I know what's going to happen. So now I know how to, like, spend it kind of thing. So it made sense. But like I said, a lot of fun. I also got For the King. I haven't played that yet, but I'm going to start. That's like
actually, I have that game too. I think it's a co-op.
Oh, let's do it.
You get down, bro.
Yeah, let's get down.
When I played it, it was kind of difficult. I'm not gonna lie, I died a few
Oh,
times.
I heard at the beginning it's pretty difficult. I heard it's like
For the King, it's like a dungeon crawler kind. Well,
it's like a turn-based dungeon crawler thing.
Yeah, it's a roguelike. So it's
Yeah.
like, oh,
It's a little
It was-
difficult. I heard it's pretty difficult in the beginning. A couple people,
it was pretty difficult mainly because I didn't know what the fuck was going on.
a couple of the dislikes that I saw in the reviews were like, I died a lot. And I'm like, well, you sound like a bitch.
Suck it up.
So, what's next? What we talk about next, Trent? I think we got all the game stuff, right?
Well, I was saying I didn't buy anything for Black Friday because just
You
didn't
have
have anything
8
else.
other million games to play.
I got WoW. That's all I need, baby.
I bought near Automata. I don't know how to pronounce
Auto
that.
something?
Auto something.
Autobots.
Because I just beat Godfall. And I was looking for another just kind of RPG to play. And
Real quick, let's get your final cap on Godfall. What do you think?
solid 5.5 out of 10.
Okay, well, Jesus. Okay.
I beat that game.
The combat looks really fun, at least, right?
The combat was kind of fun. It got a little repetitive, and that's just because I was just trying to power through, so I didn't get to explore various like weapons and like
Was it like
styles.
was it like combo based, or is it just like based on your weapon and you get these abilities?
So
Or-
every weapon has like a set of like combos between your light and heavy attacks, right?
Uh-huh.
But there's like different things you could do like in the combat system. So there's this thing called like weak points. So like you can make a build around weak points. So like when you hit a weak point, it's like a critical, right?
Right.
Or you can do like breach points, which is like based off of like heavy attacks. And then you kind of like stun your opponent basically, and then you can do like a finisher. So you can make different builds based off of like different aspects in that way. And then like all your valor plates, which is your armor, give like attributes to like a different thing. Like so one armor could give you like extra breach point, or it can give you poison, and you can make like a poison build with like weapons that increase your ability, like your chance of poisoning an enemy. So I didn't get to explore all of that, but overall, I mean, the storyline was like pretty straightforward. It wasn't.
I read some reviews.
crazy.
I heard the big issue about people had about the game was that it got repetitive pretty quickly.
Yeah, it did. It did.
That's a tough thing with games nowadays. I think is it's tough to make a game that's not repetitive, but is like action packed like that.
That feels good being repetitive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Visually, like it was an amazing game. Like visually, and like the combat system was interesting. I think they could have made it with more variables, but overall, like, yeah, like all the side quests was just like go hunt this guy, and then that was like the main storyline was like, okay, you got to get to this point, unlock this door. Okay, now you got to kill these monsters to like get this energy, and then like you fight the boss for that stage.
Yeah.
And then that was it. And then that was it for 4 stages.
Did you so you played through a single player campaign? Is there multiplayer?
There is
like
a
a open world?
co-op where you can go through the campaign with up to 3 players.
But there's no like open world like multiplayer where you go like fight fucking.
So
bosses
after
or-
you beat the main game, it unlocks like I forgot what they call it, like the afterworld or something. But you're basically like rerunning old quests, like but they're like harder to gain like energy. I don't know what it is, but you basically can craft more stuff and gain like better material, better
improve
equipment.
rewards and shit.
Yeah, but you're basically running through old side quests, which is just hunting like an enemy.
Uh-huh.
So you're just doing that over and over again. So yeah, I was like, all right, we're done with the main quest. So,
that seems kind of disappointing because I think
Disappointing.
I know I was watching Scar, and Scar was actually pretty hyped for the game too, and I think he also felt the same way as in he was hyped for it. Sadly, just didn't live to his expectations.
There's so much
I think.
potential, but like I think someone did it's like 10 hours of main campaign gameplay. 10 hours.
I think
pretty-
he made a comment of it being
pretty short.
Anthem again, which is like
Yeah, it's basically
everyone was very hyped.
Bro,
everyone
I was
very hyped for
super
Anthem.
hyped for Anthem, and then that shit came out and everyone said it was bad. I was like, that sucks.
Mini did like the where it came out on a platform you could like rent a pass.
Yeah.
You can play any game for like $30 a month. So he rented it and he beat it in like a week or something. He's like, yeah, I beat it in like 3 days or something.
Dude, when Mini gets a game, he wasn't grinding. He fucking grinds.
Yeah, he also,
Yeah.
he grinds hard.
Like I know Mini and he grinds, but like he beat that game in I think like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah,
Well, like he was going to school and work. Like he beat it like during a work week. Like
that's
how
true.
good it was.
That's how I felt when I played like, what was that? Well, that Star Wars game, it's the hack and slash where the guy had all the Jedi powers. I forgot what it's called, but like that, it's like 6 hours of gameplay. Like I remember like renting it and like sitting down and playing it, and then it was like game over, and I was like, huh?
Yeah,
I beat it?
I just got this.
Yeah, I have a week to rent this thing.
The crazy thing about Godfall though is there's a DLC already planned for next year. I was like, bro, just make a full fleshed out game, bro. Don't
They
like, I
can't
bought
do
the
that.
deluxe
They
edition.
don't do that anymore. It's
I
annoying.
bought the deluxe edition and it came with like
The DLC?
with the DLC, and I was like, what? Just
Have
make it
that-
like a.
Yeah, part of the main game.
Why am I paying for a DLC already?
DLCs, like, I'm sorry, like, my first experience with like DLCs was like with like Oblivion, but like Oblivion's like a 120-hour game.
Yeah,
You know, unless you only
fine.
do the main story, which is that's weird. No one does that. But then like a year or two later, they came up with DLC, and like you still couldn't have even beaten the game sometimes. So like that's fine with me. But when people are like, a new game comes out, they're like DLC, I'm like, why? Unless it's a multiplayer game kind of thing, even like a big online component, like the main thing isn't the story, it's the online aspect. That's
Yeah,
fine
it's
too.
like the PvP DLC.
Yeah, that's fine. And you add like a single player kind of thing to make it more like add that to it, and then have your PvP stuff still. But when it's just a straight single player game and you can beat it in like a week, unless you're
Yeah.
being a nerd and playing 15 hours a day, then it's fine. But if you beat it in like 10 hours, then it's too small, and you
My thing
release,
is, like,
and then
if
you release a
if you can beat
DLC.
it- if you can beat it in one sitting,
Yeah, way too
Yeah,
small.
you definitely could have beat Godfall in one.
Yeah, I'm sure. And then you have a DLC already planned. It's like, just make that part of the game, bro. Like, what?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
It was like it's like when Destiny 2 came out, right? Like we powered through Destiny 2 in like 2 weeks, and then like 3 months later it had a DLC. And by that time I was like, I'm already done
I'm
with this
fucking
game.
done with this, bro.
I already did the raids. I'm max cap light. I literally had nothing to do in like straight 2 weeks, and then DLC's already planned. I'm like, bro, what happened?
Yeah, that's how I felt with Star Wars Knights of the Republic, that MMO. I remember playing that. I got leveled up fast, got into like a pug group for a raid, the only raid they had.
Yeah.
I did get pretty lucky, but all the shit for my character to drop for operative, I was the only operative. I got 2 mounts. I high rolled everything. I came out of that not in a guild, fully geared, two legendary mounts or whatever. And people be
That was
like,
it.
"You want to join my guild?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm done. I think I beat it."
Yeah. I think we ran that raid like 2 or 3 times, and we were fully geared.
Yep.
And I was like,
Well,
oh, okay, like make it at least like a small percent chance that I'm gonna get a piece of my gear. Not
That's another
like,
thing where like WoW was really good. It was where like maybe they just only had molten core, but bro, you needed to
Grind the shit out of it.
grind and get that first pieces of gear first to your party before you could beat the next guy. Like it was just what it was. Like
Yeah.
I-
Destiny was like, all right, you beat this raid boss. Sure, it took you probably 6 hours to try to figure it out, but you got like half your gear set.
yeah, there's
Right,
always a
right,
goal. There's always a goal, and I
Right.
feel like you gotta always keep that. That was the issue of Final Fantasy 14 too. Was you had raid gear, but then they also had like for the casuals, like, oh, you can just grind these dungeons over and over again and get good gear too. Turns out that gear is better than the raid gear. So you're like, what the fuck am I doing? Like it is, and then say that we beat the boss, and you're like, okay, cool. Like now I can do mythic Ifrit. Like that's just toxic. That was more like how good are your frames? Because if you don't dodge the Titan strike or this that, you die. So it was just like, yeah. So I was like, whatever, man.
Real quick, talk about WoW real quick. So I've been playing a lot of WoW, as you guys might know.
Yeah, we know.
Oh yeah, we know.
So the last few expansions they had a coin system, right, where you buy coins and you get a reroll on like basically any boss you want, right? So you get a second chance at loot. And they also had a system where like, it was a what's called Warforged system, where like you have a chance of getting like a higher increase. So
Right.
like I don't know, so like I level 140, but you have a higher chance. You have a chance to get like 150.
Yeah, it's the same item, but it's Warforged and it's stronger.
More stats and shit. So they took that out of the game now, and they actually made it to where they took the coin out of the game, and so now it's like they made it less easy to get gear, which I think is
Always better.
Okay, so yeah, it's beneficial right now. I got a little frustrated yesterday because I was running some dungeons. I didn't get what the fuck I wanted. And I was like, "Fuck! I wish I had a coin to roll."
Are you Brandon?
I was like, I wish I had a coin to roll in this boss right now. But I was like, it might feel frustrating now, but it's gonna feel so much more rewarding when I get that item I want. Right?
Yeah.
And I think what they did is great, and I'm transitioning to kind of decent WoW talk. I'm actually loving my time with WoW. I'm sorry ignoring all of you, but the game is fucking
This guy
owning me right now.
This guy doesn't do anything.
That's why I can't play that game.
Wow.
I'll get divorced.
Um.
Tian gonna kick you off that game soon. You just wait.
Yeah. You know. Maybe.
Tiana's
But-
more understanding, okay?
She is.
But I think
Caitlin's
Yeah,
more
like-
like, I don't give a fuck. Hang out with me. And I'm like, all right.
shit.
Alright. Sorry, Raid, I gotta go.
Yeah.
I think the game's really fun right now. I feel like I'm having a lot more fun than I was the last few expansions. Starting off at least. I'm working on my second character now, so
Oh my god.
that's the thing.
Shit, maybe I should get WoW.
So, bro,
I've really been considering it because everyone's playing, and
Maybe
I'm
I'll
like,
just in my life.
dude. But then I'm gonna be at that point where I'm just like ruining my life to catch up to everybody, and then I'm gonna hate myself.
Well, you'd be like what's it called? Like it's Jared, Nico, and no mini love cap. They're just chilling, hanging out.
Don't put me in the same
Yeah.
category as Mini, bro.
Yeah.
That guy, me and Tosh, all right.
I think like so. I know your experience with Classic was very rough, but
Bro.
retail is like
man.
100 times more easy.
Having to keep up with players who've been playing the game for like 10 plus years in level, and then just
Well,
like,
especially in Classic, because Classic leveling is a lot more difficult too.
yeah,
so-
I know. I was there. Played 16 hours in a day, and then Simon comes in, plays like 3 hours, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm like 30." I'm like, "What the fuck happened? What did I do?" He's on his second character, same level as me. I'm like, "Yeah, all right, I'm done. I'm done with this game."
Oh, so I'm working on another character. I have like more characters I'm playing with Brandon and stuff, and we're hopefully everyone gets caught up. Maybe we can do some dungeons or some raids or something like that together. And that's like when the more
All
fun.
right, Chan, when
more
you're
fun
on
part
your
of that
third character, let me know, and then we can level that together.
All right, Tran. You talk to me until I'm gonna get WoW.
Baby, let's do it.
I'm gonna get WoW.
Easy.
If Matt gets WoW, I'm gonna get WoW.
But if I buy WoW and you guys quit again, I'm gonna burn your house down.
Matt, continue to play if you continue to play.
All right, I'll get it right after we film this
'Cause
podcast.
this is what's gonna happen. Like, you don't typically play during the weekdays, right? I'm gonna use the weekdays to be able to catch up to you for the weekends, and the weekends you'll gain like 20 levels on. Well, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I plan on playing the game actually for. I kind of already mentally made my commitment to like maybe doing some mythic rating on one of my characters, so I'm already kind of pretty invested.
And you need to send me all the things I need to download for add-ons.
What should I be? Should I be a tank?
You should tank. I'm going DPS because I feel like I don't know how to do it.
If you want to be a tank, we don't really have a tank right now. Max is a tank, but he only gets to play on the weekends with us because he has to work during the night.
All right.
During the week.
I'll tank it then. Can I be a paladin tank?
I'm gonna be. What's
Max
the
the paladin.
easiest? What's the easiest DPS class, mage?
So can I be a paladin tank?
Definitely not mage. If you
Rogue-
easy,
I feel like rogue Has a lot of
If you wanna do easy,
Hunters are
it's
easy.
Hunter.
Probably Hunter.
Hunter again. I'm gonna lose my pet every time.
No, honestly, it doesn't. I mean, so you can learn to play a class. You just gotta put some time into it. So just play a class that seems like really cool to you.
All right, don't flame me. All right.
Ooh, Druid tank.
Yeah, you play Druid. I don't give a fuck.
I've never really played Druid, and
You can do everything.
I can always heal.
You're a trash healer.
Ooh, I can be Paladin, and Max isn't gonna keep playing.
Wow, you gonna call him out like that?
Alright,
Max is like, I don't know.
I'll Druid
think-
it up.
So I think the problem with Max has now is that like he goes to work when we're playing.
Yeah, he
So
works
and
swing
then, and then on the
shift.
weekend he's hanging out. He's probably hanging out with Regina or some bullshit. Bro.
I gotta hang out with Regina.
I think the way to keep Max into a game is if we actually do stuff with him on the weekend.
Together, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And
Like if we're just playing a game and he's playing separately, and then like on the weekend comes, we never play with him. He's just gonna be like, "Why am I playing this game?"
Yeah. All right. Ooh, don't they like demon hunters now too? Aren't they pretty good tanks?
yeah, Demon Hunter's a tank too. Yeah, I mean, like I say, you can play.
Wait.
if you want, you can play Paladin. I'm just saying, Max.
You play Demon Hunter DPS.
Yeah.
Demon Hunter has a
I'm-
TPS.
They have lasers that shoot out of their eyes. All right, I'm playing Demon Hunter.
They are literally Homelander.
Well, then I'm gonna be Druid then. This fucking guy.
You guys can play the same fucking class. It doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, you can be Demon Hunter tank. I'll be Demon Hunter DPS, dude. I don't understand.
The only good thing about Demon Hunter is they have double jump. That's the only thing. That's what I would play that class for.
Cool.
That-
Loser.
All right, so I'll see you guys in Astro.
No, in Maple Story they had.
I guess the podcast is over. We're gonna play. WoW.
Okay.
All right. What's next? Okay. Let's hit off on what's up?
Pause. I think since we're on like game experiences, I feel like Ray had something to talk about earlier.
Was it Near Automata?
Near Automata, not Near Automata. Okay, so I bought that game. I think I played like an hour and a half, mostly because I got a headache. Mostly because like the game changes perspective and like gameplay style so much. Like you start off the game like as in like a plane fighter like Galaga, like
Yep.
Raiden X type game, Phoenix game, right?
I love those games.
Yeah, I love those games too, right? And then you go into the actual RPG, right? And then you're like, okay, you're like over the shoulder or like over the top, right? Perspective. And then it sometimes changes into a 2D side scroller, right? And then now you're playing RPG 2D side scroller. Or it will go straight over the top and you're playing I wouldn't even know what that would be, but you're like over
It's
the
trying
top
to give you the
perspective.
experience of like 5
Yeah.
different games, bro.
And then you go back in the plane and it's 2D side scroller playing game and my head just like couldn't take all the fucking changes of perspective.
I wonder if
and
that's
I'm
like the whole, if that goes through the whole game, or if that's just like the intro, or if like the little like playing bullshit is like maybe like a puzzle game.
I
later.
have no idea. I'm gonna play some more probably. Well, I'm
I
playing
heard that.
WoW
I heard
now,
that game.
guess.
I heard that game's insane, you know. But
I've heard good things about it. I think I wasn't used. I think I wasn't ready for just like all of that.
Yeah, it has really good reviews. People like that game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I just need to adjust to all the different changes.
it was like nominated for like game of the year when it came out.
yeah,
Or something.
no, it's fun. Storyline seems very interesting so far. So
Yeah,
I got through the
it's
first
Square
boss.
Enix game, is it not?
Yeah, Square Enix. I didn't even know that. I just bought the game. I was like, whatever. That's good reviews. So I'll let you guys know.
Square Enix is a goat. They make good games for sure.
They make good story games. Good.
Yeah, they do. What do I want to talk about?
Okay, you guys kind of want to talk about the fight last week. You guys want to talk about
Sure, fuck it. Jake Paul. Paul gave Nate Robinson the
the sauce?
click the bell and subscribe button, baby.
The Whoopie and the Wop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you guys don't know, there was a big fight event.
Tyson Roy Jones Jr. and it was a lot of kind of like doing a little little celebrity fights and things like that.
So there were actually some professional upcoming fighters in that event, but the two main cards were Nate Robinson versus Jake Paul and Roy Jones Jr. versus Mike Tyson. So spoiler alert, Nate Robinson.
If you don't know now, I mean,
Nate Robinson got knocked the fuck out.
you have been on social media.
And it really goes to show
Three
you,
times.
listen, you may not like Jake Paul, but the guy has been training to be a boxer for a while. He's a big dude. There's a big difference between street fighting and knowing how to box. Big difference. And when there's rules, you got gloves on, you're in a ring with a ref, it changes. Now, Who knows? Maybe in the streets, Nate Robinson will whoop his ass. But I'll tell you this much right now: Nate Robinson got his ass beat in the boxing ring.
It was not a good look in the ring.
It was bad.
It wasn't like Nate Robinson when that fight started and Nate Robinson like tried to do something. I knew from the start. I was like, this ain't gonna happen.
He's
He
not ready.
He does not know how to box,
he,
bro.
Like tried to rush him and do some.
Try to
weird
spear him
stuff.
and shit. Try to tackle him.
I think he got knocked down real quick the first round, and after that, I think he was just trying to rush Nate and like hold on for dear life.
But
I
the
think that was his game
knockout
plan.
that came from in round
Yo,
2.
that
Oh
punch
my God,
was.
that gnarly.
He gave him
Yeah.
a whoop.
He was like out. He was asleep, like straight up asleep.
Straight
for a
up, like,
good-
yeah.
Oh, it was bad. He was.
I mean, even just watching the way he fell was like terrifying. It was like, oh my
Yeah.
god.
And now Le'Veon Bell wants to fucking fight him.
Please stop.
Is that who? Jake Paul or
Yeah,
Robinson? Okay.
Le'Veon Bell threw that out there. And I'm trying to say this: Le'Veon Bell, same exact thing going to happen to you if you don't get someone to teach you how to properly box. There's a big difference between fighting and boxing.
Watching Nate Robinson in the ring, he was just not ready. Dude. He was just like, what the fuck
No.
am I
So I mean, here's the thing: Le'Veon Bell is an athlete, strong guy, good, conditioning. I'm sure he could win. He just needs to have someone be like, "This is how you box. This is what you're supposed to do in the ring."
Yeah.
And I'm sure he could do it. Nate Robinson, I don't know if he did or did not do that, but he didn't do it in the ring. Tell you that much.
He went into that shit way too
Yeah.
confident or just didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, I think he.
I don't
I
know
think
who
he
was
thought.
training
I don't.
him,
I think Nate Robinson was like, "I don't even know how to box. I'm gonna whoop this
Whoop
kid's
his
ass."
ass.
Yeah, and he did not.
And now he's a fucking highlight,
He's
dude.
been training for I think about 2-3 years because he had another celebrity fight with another
What, he
big
fought-
streamer from
KSI.
KSI's camp or one of KSI's friends or like a European streamer. He basically fought him.
Yeah.
And he's been training since
That
from
fight was
point
more. That
on.
fight was more competitive than this fight.
Oh, yeah.
It actually was. He fought Gibby, I think his name was.
I don't know. I just know he's from.
But it went more rounds. I'm sure maybe Nate was a little more or Jake was a little more inexperienced, but
Yeah.
yeah, he's been training ever since then. Like he hasn't stopped training.
And
Yeah,
then
no,
after the fight, he wins the fight and goes to call out Conor McGregor. Hello.
Okay, so that's the thing. Now Conor McGregor knows how to fight. Now Conor McGregor will whoop his ass. And
That's-
there's like a
that's
video
kinda
clip
like-
of someone being like, "Oh, Jake Paul wants to fight you." Conor McGregor's like, "What? I don't give a fuck." Like,
I don't need this fight.
yeah, he would have. Now I will say this: if you paid Conor McGregor enough, he'd go in there and do it.
Yeah,
But it
whoop
would
his
have
ass.
to be a lot of money.
100 million for the Floyd Mayweather fight, so that's your bar. at
Yeah,
that point.
because he has no
Right.
reason. Because he has nothing to gain and everything to lose.
Yeah,
Right,
if he
exactly.
lost that fight, like somehow
His name is
career,
screwed.
his
Yeah.
name, everything.
It's
down the
over.
drain.
It's over.
Over.
And,
It's like
and-
Nate
and-
Robinson
and
right
here's
now.
the thing: in a fight, all it takes is one punch sometimes. So it could.
It's coin flip.
It's definitely possible. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna say it's Well, I'm not gonna say it's impossible that if McGregor fought him that he wouldn't could lose. It's definitely possible. Chances are
Very
small,
unlikely.
but if he got paid like 300,000 and he got knocked out, not worth, bro. Not
I
worth.
think Lawrence should call out Jake Paul.
Yeah, there you go. Lawrence, this is your time to shine.
Oh, Jake Paul whoop
Coin
Lawrence's
flip.
ass.
Coin flip.
It's a
Coin
coin
flip.
flip. Dog.
Just so you guys know, Lawrence is our friend. He get his ass beat by Jake Paul.
Nah, according to Lawrence, every fight is 50-50, regardless of how much fight experience you have.
Regardless of how big you are, yeah.
Oh, is that why you guys are quoting coin flip?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you said that.
Get in there. I completely beat him. Coin flip. I was like, this guy has so much experience. He's like, I got like
Beat his
50
ass.
on him. I was like, this guy has 10 years of training. He's like, it's a coin flip, man. I'm like,
I would like to
Lawrence,
see Tyson and Lawrence.
Alright.
I would like to see if Lawrence would say coin flip. I guarantee Lawrence would touch gloves of that guy and pee his pants. By the way, if that fight we could touch on a little bit, it looked like Mike Tyson was going easy on him.
Tyson was apparently super high when he was in the fight. So
Yeah.
Oh, really?
He's probably just- yeah, he's probably just chilling and
he
vibing.
did an interview and told people he smoked. So
Oh. I mean, he
Yeah.
can do whatever the fuck he wants, so.
yeah.
Hey, so I think a lot of people watching it maybe didn't know it was just like a.
Yeah,
It was an
it
exhibition.
wasn't like it was
Yeah,
not
it was
like
far.
Exhibition.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
for charity.
He wasn't trying to knock him out or anything like that. So
Yeah. They made up the belt to make it more interesting, but
yeah, it was
Yeah,
all
but
charity.
It doesn't go on anyone's record or anything like that. It's just
yeah.
This is what.
which it shouldn't. I mean, it was all that, but
But but they didn't tell you. They don't really tell you that up front unless you kind of look more into it. So
Yeah.
Mike Tyson wanted a fight though. He wanted a fucking fight. Like he was
we
down
see Roy
there.
Jones when he was getting when Mike Tyson's doing the. Roy just stop.
yeah. But there are a lot of times where I feel like Mike Tyson could have done his fucking left hook and didn't.
Oh yeah.
There are a lot of times where I'm like, he
There's
could
a lot of
fucking
times where-
knock his head off, and he did not.
Sitting in the clinch, dude. Just like one,
Yeah.
One swift
And he gave him a
uppercut,
couple
out of
punches,
it.
and Roy Jones Jr. was like, those hurt. Like, he said that, he goes, that did not feel good. So I think, but Mike Tyson's been like training lately. He's been like, because I've been watching his training videos, and I was like, yo, he's a monster. So I
Remember
thought he
his
was going to do
trainer
that.
Holding the pads up, that's a scary fucking
Oh,
job.
yeah.
But he lost like 100 pounds like since he announced he was gonna fight or something like that.
Well, he like swore off fighting, all that kind of stuff, went very into like weed and things like that. So he gained a bunch of weight, and I think he decided that he wanted to like change that. And he's still the same guy, but now he's just getting fit again. And
Right.
I think by fighting, I don't think he's gonna be going fucking like he's very more into non-violence. I think he was such an angry guy. I'm getting a lot of this from like the Joe Rogan interviews and like articles, but he was a very angry guy for a long time. I think by swearing off fighting and punching and stuff like that, it like calmed him down. And now that he's gotten older and stuff like that and got a better head on his shoulders,
better
now
mental
he
state,
thinks he can go back into training and boxing without, getting so like
Riled up.
I mean,
riled up.
if that's his hobby, that's good for him, 'cause,
No, it's a great hobby.
He did it for so many years, and it probably just feels good, probably just to
Yeah.
even just
Hit
spar.
somebody.
Yeah, just to strike someone. Yeah. So I mean, if he's in a better mental state and he's just chilling and just
I
having a
think
good
he
time,
wants
dude.
to do it again though. Like,
I think so too. I think
we'll see
he
more
enjoys
of
it.
these.
It's fun for him.
Yeah, and like he said, he's doing it for the people because I think it was like a charity.
All
or,
charity. Yeah, he's
so
Mike
I
Tyson's
think
actually
he
a really
has, like,
good dude.
cause. Yeah,
He just, had some shit going on
I
in his
think he
life.
said it to himself. I think he said it in an interview where he was like, toward the end of his career, he was just like hanging out with like the wrong types of people, and he got.
Well, he got into drugs. He got caught up in his shit. He was always an
now
angry
that-
guy. I mean,
Yeah, now that he's in a better mental state, it's better for him, and he enjoys because he always enjoyed the sport. So
yeah. No, he's like a boxing historian. Like he just watches old boxing videos, hours of it all the time. So that was like his thing when he was younger. So
Do you guys remember seeing Mike Tyson in Dead Man 3?
yeah.
that was
I just figured
punching through walls and shit. Yeah,
with the voiceover.
Yeah, I do remember that, but it's funny. Hey, it's cool. It's cool. I liked it.
I like Dead Man movies, but that wasn't the.
Mike Tyson should have been a villain on Fast and Furious. I'm not gonna lie to you. Dude.
For sure, dude. What the fuck? Hello, dude.
They had Tony Jaa. Why not throw fucking Mike Tyson in there, dude?
The fuck, dude. Okay.
Do you guys want to talk about how Warner Brothers is set to release movies in theater and HBO Max? All of them, like 17 movies at the same time or something like that.
Yeah, I will
Yeah.
say this hit my stock really hard because now they're not gonna rely on movie theaters to just release their stuff, and it's on HBO Max. How much is HBO Max? Do you guys know?
$15
Oh, so
or
it's like Netflix.
11. Might be 11 or 12, I think.
That's good. I mean,
A lot of numbers.
I'm kind of still upset that like we're not gonna have movie theaters soon because I think the whole movie theater experience is really.
I think it's dying.
It's sorry.
I still enjoy the movie theater experience. I know a lot. Maybe some people think different, but like my
I only
perspective.
go for very specific movies, like
Yeah.
Marvel movies and things like that.
Like
Other
a
than
really
that,
big name movie when you have like big ass screen, surround sound, the popcorn. That stuff's neat, but overall, I don't need to go to a movie theater.
Yeah, I like chilling in my bed,
Yeah.
my pajamas, just vibing out to my.
Yeah, I can make
movie.
my own fucking popcorn. Like
I don't
I'm
have to worry
chill.
about people around me doing dumb shit.
And sometimes when you're like buy a movie ticket and it's like $20 for this, $10 for that. I just want a water, $12. You're like, dude, what the fuck? Like it's a little much.
Yeah.
So, and I think whether COVID happened or not, I think it was eventually going to happen. I think this just kind of
I think eventually, but
steamrolled
like,
it. Not this
as
fast.
as it did.
Correct. No, I
I
agree.
I would think like within like 5 years maybe. But
I think it definitely fast tracked it for sure, which is unfortunate. It sucks for that, but that's what happens, man. I mean, things in business die out and new things come in, and that's just what it is. But I think what sucks now is I think we're going to see a lot more subscription based stuff, and things are going to become more expensive just being able to sit at home. So instead of being like I can see like HBO Max being like, well, since all these new movies come out on our thing, it's like a $30 subscription. You're like, well, now I'm paying for cable or
We're
some
gonna have
shit.
to pay $30 to watch all of these, by the way.
Oh yeah,
God.
and they might do that too. They might charge more instead of like you won't have a matinee kind of thing anymore. You might just have like whatever you want to watch this.
I read somewhere that AMC Theaters was kind of flaming Warner Bros. Because they're minimizing their profit gain from releasing all of these movies at once.
So I
on
think
these platforms.
So I think releasing them all at once is weird. That's a weird way to do it. But I think if they did it one at a time, I mean, you'd get your money back eventually. I mean, I think so. Movie theaters don't really get that much money from the actual movies.
Yeah.
They get it from you coming in buying popcorn and stuff.
Well, I'm saying AMC is bashing Warner Bros.
Yeah, so they don't care about
Warner
profits. I
Bros.
read that article too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Warner Brothers is still going to make plenty of money because they get most money not from movie theaters too. I think they get a lot of it from just people watching the movie. So whether you go to the theater or whether now always the movie ticket sales is always a big mark of like how well did that movie do, and I think that's going to change or get something else. But we'll see.
Yeah, it's gonna be
a transition for sure. But I'm excited. I mean, a lot of good movies coming out. I mean, so I'd be super excited for Matrix 4. So I hope it doesn't suck.
4.
I'm kind of nervous about Matrix 4. I really want it to be good, but I don't know. Man.
Morpheus isn't in it, and he's a big staple of that, movie series. So we'll see.
I have a bad taste in my mouth of people ruining old series.
Listen,
Yeah.
if they did Matrix 4 and they just went straight John Wick route, I don't know if I'd be angry about that.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's true too.
But I mean, like what we got, Godzilla versus Kong might be cool. Cool, like turn your brain off, watch two big monsters fight each other. Suicide Squad's gonna suck probably. Dune still kind of about that. Keanu Reeves, Matrix 4 would be good, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know what. Tom and Jerry might be fun. Mortal Kombat could be really good. I mean, with the
my God,
technology
I'm
they
so
have now,
nervous
it
about
could be really
technology,
good.
dude.
But same thing, nervous about that.
There's not been a single
Space Jam.
I'm excited about Space Jam with LeBron James.
Yeah, Space Jam would be cool.
Yeah, so there's a lot of cool movies. I mean, you guys could just look it up real quick if you want to see all of them. But it seems pretty interesting, so I'm excited about it.
We'll see.
Yeah. Other than that, I kind of want to talk about Star Wars a little bit. So, Mandalorian, we saw the last episode. We'll try and did it. It was
Spoilers
a
here,
cool,
by the way.
yeah, big spoilers, Tran. Sorry. Well, I mean, we don't have to talk about it.
No, go ahead.
You sure?
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot happening.
Shut the fuck up and just fucking talk about it.
Okay. So Mandalorian goes to the planet, whatever it's called, for Yoda or not Yoda, Grogu to meditate on to try to reach out to other Jedi.
Yep.
So they go to this like weird little ritual stone thing. Grogu sits on it, starts meditating, and freaking super power force field thing goes around him. Freaking nuts. Super powerful as well. So then you see the classic iconic Boba Fett ship fly in. So it actually turns out to be Boba Fett, and he wants his armor back. Lots of things ensue. Big shootout. The Empire shows up. It's gnarly. Stormtroopers, all that shit. It's a cool fight scene, man. And well, the ending's pretty sad, but I feel like it had to happen eventually. So now these next episodes will be really cool. I think is that the series semi-finale or no? There's probably more episodes.
Episode 6.
There's
Last season had 9.
so then there's going to be 9 or 10. Okay, so then so there's a lot more to go on now.
Big spoiler alert. I don't know if you want to talk about it, but basically Grogu stops meditating, right? And he gets taken by some dark stormtroopers or whatever they're called.
They're like dark troopers, but they're like robot things, basically.
They're robots, basically. So he gets taken. Stormtroopers retreat. and Boba Fett is revealed to have taken the armor from the ship, the extra armor that the Mandalorian had on his ship that he took from the other guy on the other planet. I forgot.
Yeah, took it on, whipped that shit up, and beat everyone's ass. It was sick.
Yep.
Um,
And then, Mandalorian's ship gets blown up. And then,
oh yeah, like it's done.
yeah.
There's no more Mandalorian ship.
All he has is the spear made of Beskar.
Yeah.
And Boba Fett basically says, "I'm indebted to you because you gave me my armor back."
Yeah, I didn't understand that part because it was confusing to me. It was Boba Fett saved that one chick's life on Tatooine, helped rebuild her up, so she was indebted to Boba Fett, which was the deal was that they go get the armor back. But then he made a deal with her that he would, if he got his armor back from Mandalorian, that he would be indebted to Mandalorian to keep Grogu, the child, safe.
Well, I think
I'm confused with that.
Did he make a bet
A deal
with the Mandalorian to say that he'll give the armor back if the baby gets delivered to a Jedi?
Oh, I think they did it in the episode, huh, where he was like, "All right, deal. You can have your armor back if you help me protect Grogu." I think that's no. I don't know. Anyways, some shape or form. I actually don't really care because now we're going to see more Boba Fett and Mandalorian teaming up.
Yeah. So, end of the episode. Basically, the Mandalorian goes to whatever that girl's name is, to ask her for his help to help like find some guy in jail.
It was Bill Burr.
To help him track down the light cruiser that Grogu is on. And you got to see Grogu beat some stormtrooper ass with the Force, which is cool.
It's cool too. So, yeah, so it's pretty interesting to see what's going on. Part of it too, I know Grogu's young. I mean, he's 50, but he's still like a baby in his species age. I got a little dark side sense from that.
Yeah,
because when he was like choking out the stormtroopers and just beating them to hell, and the Moff came in and was like, "Oh no, let's watch this." Like, I think that was a little bit of like a we might be able to use this to our own gain kind of thing, because he's a dark saber, so he's definitely familiar with the ways of the Jedi and the Force and everything. So he has to know about dark side and light side. So it makes you wonder what kind of future we have for Grogu. It also makes you wonder how much can they go through with the storyline, considering 7, 8, 9 are already filmed, and there's no Grogu, there's no Ahsoka, there's none of that. So it's pretty interesting to see like where this will lead to, because we already know the ending.
Yeah, and it's interesting because they said now we have our donor.
Yeah.
Grogu.
Yeah.
So I'm curious as to what if he's donating, like, is it midichlorians,
Midichlorians or his blood. I think this is how they resurrect Palpatine or get the clone done. I think that's what this is all alluding to. This is what brings back Palpatine. I'm not too sure if that's what their goal is, but that's what I feel like it's heading towards.
Yeah.
Part of me wishes that Disney would be like, we're going to redo 7, 8, and 9. But I think that's what's going on.
Grogu as the evil Sith Lord?
That'd be interesting.
How limited do you guys think the series is? As in, like, as you said, we know the ending already. So, like, how much content is this series gonna have?
I think a lot,
because it's on the Mandalorian. So
yeah.
I think they're trying their best to stay away from the main the main movie series line. Maybe make references to it, but I think they want it.
Well, I mean, because like what Matt said, the 7, 8, 9 don't mention anything that happens in the series, basically, right? So it's like,
well, it's basically assumed that he survives the fall from when Luke kills him.
Oh no, he died. He's a clone for sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, that guy died. He exploded. It's a definite clone for sure, and that's based off all of like the EU novels and all that kind of stuff. I think Mandalorian is showing the progression of what happened a little bit, not on the Jedi side, but in between what happened those 30 years. I think it was from when the Empire fell to when they came back, kind of thing. because there's a lot of plot holes in between of like, how the hell are these guys so strong? Where did they get all these resources? How Palpatine come back? Did he have this plan the whole time? So I think this is what this and Moffs are like. It's a ranking in the Empire. So there's Grand Admiral Thrawn. I think he's like a Grand Moff or something like that. There's Moff Tarkin. I think Grand Moff Tarkin we saw in the old 4, 5, and 6 movies. So a Moff is who's appointed by like the Emperor kind of thing. It's like a ranking to title. So his goal may be to help bring back this, and all this cloning and all this stuff could be around that, because that one facility they were in was cloning, and they were having a bunch of failed clones, and his blood somehow was what was helping to fix that, I guess. So I don't know. Well, I think there's a lot to go through. They have lots of time. I mean, 30 years is a long time. I mean, I don't know how long these episodes. I'm sure there's been maybe a couple of years or something happening so far in this series, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on, so it's pretty interesting. So they could do a lot.
I should expect Supernatural 15 years worth of seasons. Got it.
No, I think we'll get like
I give it
5,
like 6.
yeah, 5 or 6.
5 or 6.
A good Breaking Bad.
Well, they're also doing a spin-off for Boba Fett. He's gonna get his own series.
Oh.
I think that what that's gonna be is what's happened in between Mandalorian and Return of the Jedi, which is kind of around the same thing, but like this is a little bit before that to see like how he survived, or maybe it could be just like what would be really cool is they took it way back. What happened with him between the first time we were introduced to him and when his dad died, Django. That would be a better series, I think, because I mean, he survived. That's cool. I don't really know what he did, but to see how he became this like infamous bounty hunter would be very neat.
Yeah.
Also, there's gonna be a spinoff of the guy from Rogue One, the main,
Pilot?
yeah,
The pilot fighter.
yeah. There's gonna be a spinoff of that's already filming. Rogue One is a really good movie. I think out of all the newest ones that came out since Revenge of the Sith, that's probably the best movie. So it'd be really cool to see what they do with that. I really like the character. I don't think he's spin-off TV series worthy. Now it could be now apparently Obi-Wan's gonna be like 1 season, so maybe they give this guy like a 1-season spin-off thing. That'd be neat. Cool to see how that is. I don't think it's going to be on him. I think it's going to be yet again more information on what's happened with the New Republic, how he was recruited, that kind of stuff. I think all this is going to be filling in plot holes.
Yeah.
Or the gaps. I shouldn't say plot holes. The gaps in between with more information. So, because Obi-Wan is going to be when he first gets to Tatooine and he looks like a baby kind of thing. So that's going to be that information there. So, and we already know that canon that he fights Darth Maul during that time while he's on Tatooine. So, lots of things that can happen. I'm sure he had to deal with the Empire at some point because, Darth Vader was always looking for, not necessarily Luke, but for, because he didn't know that he had kids for a long time, but was looking for Jedi. So, Obi-Wan alive, that probably looking for him and just any surviving stuff kind of like that. So it's interesting. So lasers and shit.
Yeah, lasers.
Bubble party?
All right. Anything else we want to talk about?
Maybe I don't know if you want to talk about Pokemon cards on.
Yeah, Ray got a Charizard.
Listen, I pulled the VMAX Charizard. All right. I just want to let you know. Okay, and I'm opening 20 packs supposedly today, but I don't think my package is coming in.
So we're looking for investors to split a first edition box, right?
Yeah, it's about a couple $100K for a first edition box. So let me know if you want to
Invest.
donate.
Yeah. Hook
Donate
it up.
like 95% of that. I'll give you like 5% of the video profits, which is 0. So videos.
It sounds like a deal.
It's a good deal for you. Okay.
Yeah. Game of Thrones. So they are going to start shooting the House of the Dragon next year. That's confirmed. They got like a new writer, things like that. We got visual art of the dragons. Basically, this is going to be Game of Thrones, but a lot more dragons. I think it's going to be the story of, like, when there's a bunch of dragons and stuff like that. This is going to be, like, years and years behind the Game of Thrones we know.
Was it gonna follow more of the Targaryens?
Yeah. I think it's going to follow the fall of the Targaryens, when they had all those,
the
like,
Mad
dragons.
King?
No, I think even before that.
Oh,
Like, when they had their own land and kingdom and had dragons and everything. Like, dragons were, like, ruling the fucking lands, I think. I think it's...
How to Train a Dragon 3.
Yes. So, that'll be exciting because, you know, it's cool.
Live action.
You know, I think, what's-his-face, George R. R. Martin's helping write this, too, which is disappointing, honestly, because I wish he'd just go finish his fucking books, but
Yeah.
whatever. But, you know, not talking about that. So, that's exciting. And... yeah, I think we kind of covered everything. Shout out to Sky's Toast for making the Forbes 30 under 30. It's exciting.
Yeah, good for him. Pokemon, I think, is also in there.
Yeah.
But I don't really watch her, so.
Good for her too.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people make that list. Well, okay, maybe not a lot. Well, obviously not a lot of people, but I mean, a lot of people.
Well, I'm not making it, tell you that much.
Yeah, I'm about
Well,
to say.
we're almost not under 30.
Yeah, I'm about to hit my
we
cutoff list.
we got one more year, man.
I got...
Wait, no. Is it? I thought Toast was older than us.
Nope, he's 29.
No.
Oh, rip.
I got 7 months to make it.
Whoa, we get there, babe.
No, 8 months. 8 months.
Well,
We
that's
can do
depressing.
it. Yeah. Never going to make the Forbes 30 under 30. Got it.
3
But,
months.
yeah, that's exciting. Yeah, isn't Pokey like 23 or 24? So, that's good for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she's
Yeah, good for
popping off, though. She's got a lot of followers and stuff like that.
Well, Sibs.
Hey, man,
Simply
I wish
around.
I had Simps. Yeah, I don't care. Hate all you want, man. I wish I had Simps being like, oh, Matt, I love you. Date me. Here's $1 million.
Here's half my paycheck. I'll be like,
Yeah.
no, well, okay.
Okay, well then.
Sorry. Yeah, give me your money. Sounds good to me. So, yeah, no, that's cool. So, all right. Well, any other comments, questions, discussions?
NBA season starts in like a week or two, so I'm excited for that. Anyways.
No break for the players or the Lakers. Got it.
Yeah, fuck it. Anyways. That's all I
We
have.
got to make this money, okay?
They do gotta make that money.
Okay, so the E teams can get back on. So Golden Guardians can get a good team again.
There
That's
you
right.
go. Stop releasing all their fucking players.
Yeah. So, all right then. Well, if that's it, we got a good let's see, hour and 46. So maybe a little less because we BS in the beginning, but that might be content too. So anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, follow us on. We have our own Facebook page, Twitter, and on YouTube. Take care.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.